Apple may have just killed the entire secured credit card marketplace. And on today's Meet Kevin Report, we are talking about breaking news regarding not only the release of the Apple credit card, but dramatic information about what we know, what just got discovered, and what you need to know as far as how it's going to make you money. Therefore, let's get started with today's Meet Kevin Report, news that makes you money. Oh, and remember, you can meet me in Seattle in 7 days with Austin, Miami, and San Francisco after that. First things first, what do we know? Well, we know you can't buy Bitcoin with the Apple credit card. We also know that the Apple credit card has some pretty cool and unique features, like not actually having a credit card number on the actual card, instead giving you a randomly generated card number anytime you want to buy something online. Most of the credit card has its home inside Apple's official wallet app, letting you pay it off, see your immediate cashback rewards, and avoiding a lot of fees that are ordinarily charged by credit cards. We also know that if you use the physical card, you'll get 1% back. If you use Apple Pay, you'll get 2% back, which is on par with the Citi Double Cash card, a card that recently stripped most of its benefits and has fallen out of at least my favor. I won't be using that card anymore. But you'll also get 3% back at Apple, which is slightly weaker than the 5% back you would see using an Amazon card, or the 5% back using a store card like a Target or a Lowe's card. But something bigger than Bitcoin is about to happen. And no, I'm not talking about people investing in gold because they're fearful of hyperinflation. Although I seem to be getting a ton of Instagram DMs about that. Anyway, here's the real shocker, and then let's talk about how it could make you money. The Apple credit card might be a subprime credit card. You might be wondering, what the heck is that? Well, let me enlighten you. Remember the 2008 mortgage crisis and subsequent recession? You probably can't forget it. In fact, it's probably etched into so many of our minds that so many of us think to ourselves, oh my gosh, I'll never buy a house again. And I get it, because I read this book every single day about the financial crisis and what the heck happened. Anywho, let's talk about subprime. Goldman Sachs paid a $550 million settlement with the Security and Exchange Commission, also known as the SEC, the same people who went after Elon Musk for his tweets, due to Goldman Sachs defrauding of investors related to the sale of subprime mortgage products. Which, a quick example of a subprime mortgage product is a home loan made to somebody that can't afford to repay the debt, has terrible credit, or maybe doesn't even have a job or documentation of any kind of assets. This and related products that were created out of thin air were a big part of the 2008 recession. Well, so what does this have to do with the Apple credit card? Well, according to breaking news, Apple might be in the business of releasing the Apple credit card to subprime borrowers. And it just so happens Goldman Sachs is the company behind the Apple credit card, or the bank behind the Apple credit card.
A credit card created by Apple, not a bank.
Created by clever Apple. Typically, anybody under a 660 credit score is going to have a difficult time getting what's known as an unsecured credit card. An unsecured credit card is the kind of credit card where you can just call up a credit card company, apply online for the card, or however you want to apply, and you end up getting a revolving line of money that you have access to. You can start swiping your credit card and using it without giving any kind of money up front, like a security deposit. Well, if you have less than a 660 credit score, according to NerdWallet, your best bets are usually only secured credit cards, where you have to give the bank money before they let you spend your own money. And the theme is, hey, if you give us money so you could spend your own money, we hope to make money off you, not only in fees by you using the card, but also hopefully you're just gonna not pay your credit card bill and pay a bunch of interest when you eventually decide to pay it back. NerdWallet's favorite cards are the Capital One Secured and the Discover It card. I've personally talked about the Discover It card. I think it's great if you can get the card. But the last time I talked about it, a bunch of people were telling me they could not even get approved for the Discover It Secured card. That is, Discover wouldn't even take them despite people handing Discover money so the people could spend their own money. They got denied for secured credit cards with credit scores between 620 and 660. That's shocking. Now, if you are looking for a secured card, the Discover It card is a great card because you do get 1% cash back on almost everything. You get some bonuses as well, which is a great introduction to getting bonuses and rewards from credit cards, at least until you get to the level of like a 680 credit score or above to get into, say, the Citi Double Cash or the Chase or American Express card platforms. However, Citi Double Cash, not a big fan of that one anymore. Well, enter again the Apple credit card. Apple is reportedly accepting applications from people with credit scores as low as 620. That's that threshold where people are having trouble getting secured credit cards, and Apple is giving them unsecured credit cards. According to this CNBC article that broke the news, somebody with a 620 credit score got an over $700 credit limit with the Apple credit card 2 minutes after applying for the card through the Wallet app. Now, there are 3 things this means to you and your money, and the third reason is particularly important, so make sure to stay for these reasons. Smash the like button, and thank you so much to all of those of you who sent me this article on Instagram. I really appreciate you supporting the Meet Kevin Report. Now, let's talk about the 3 ways this is going to make you money. Number 1, if you do not yet have a cash back credit card, I highly recommend you get the Apple credit card. It's like walking around with a 2% off coupon for absolutely every single store you go to. Now, if you are a member of the Citi Double Cash card, where again, so many of your benefits are being stripped, I highly recommend you can that card, because if you want a lack of overall benefits, you may as well use the Apple credit card. Yes, the Apple credit card does not give you extended warranty protection or travel perks or some of the other common protections like car rental reimbursement or theft protection. This is very unfortunate for the Apple credit card, but it makes sense since Apple seems to be appealing to pretty much anybody with a pulse. That's why if you're using the Citi Double Cash, you may as well cast your vote to support the industry via the Apple credit card rather than the Citi bait and switch card. And sorry if I sound a little pissed about the Citi Double Cash, okay? I've been recommending that card forever, and now people are like, Kevin, you said the card was good, and now you're saying it's not. What's up? Yeah? Well, Citi's at fault here. Citi's to blame. You know, I gotta point all my fingers. Citi's to blame. Now, money fact number 2, if you end up getting the Apple credit card, I recommend using it as part of your arsenal of other credit cards, such as the Chase Unlimited Freedom. Obviously, if you're using the regular Chase Freedom and the Chase Sapphire Reserve as well, you are using my absolute favorite cashback rewards bundle. I personally use that bundle, so I don't know how much I'm going to be using the Apple credit card, but I'll probably be using it solely out of bitterness for disliking Citi. So what else are you doing by getting an Apple credit card? Well, you're actually following the vision of Steve Jobs. Steve has reportedly over 3 times since the 90s attempted to introduce an Apple-style credit card and, quote, had an aversion, end quote, to rejecting any of his customers for the Apple credit card. So Steve Jobs could actually be behind the push towards offering this card to people even with low credit scores. Although I suppose it's also possible that Apple is secretly mining your financial data while you're using every app on the phone and is secretly coming up with its own credit score. That is complete speculation. I literally just made that up. It's not even on the outline that I wanted to talk about. It's just the stuff that rolls out of my mouth. Please do not sue me, Apple. And see, when I talk about getting sued, I ain't doing an April Fool's joke either. Now, how is the Apple credit card actually going to make you money? Well, first things first, if you do not yet have a credit card, this is going to be one of the best ways for you to build your credit. If you've already built credit, this is a good opportunity for you to think to yourself, don't be that person that says, well, I have an 800 credit score. I don't want to apply for anything because I don't want my score to go down. The problem with the majority of those thinkers, which, admit it, there are a lot of us, we all want to be part of the 850 credit score club. The problem with this kind of thinking is it actually prevents you from making money in the best ways possible. Number 1 way to make money the best way possible is investing in real estate. A lot of people don't want to even apply for a loan because they're nervous about the impact to their credit, and the number 1 step to getting into real estate investing is obviously applying for a loan. And yes, eventually people might apply for a loan, but I recommend you apply for a loan a lot sooner than you actually think you want to get into real estate. We talk about this regularly in the real estate investing investing course. Make sure they use that new coupon code, a link below, because I was bagging on Redfin. We also talk about it in the private live streams. Why? Because when you get pre-approved early in the process, maybe even as far as a year out before you're thinking about buying, you start knowing, these are the financial steps I need to start taking to be properly prepared to buy a house in a year, or buy an apartment in a year, or buy an apartment building in a year, so that you're not blindsided down the road. Unfortunately, a lot of people are resistant to having their credit run because they're worried about the impact to their credit. Getting the Apple credit card is a great way to start building your credit. In fact, I'm going to make the argument here that the Apple credit card is going to be the absolute best credit score builder because it's an unsecured card and it gives you 2% cash back. And number two, applying for it should really give you the motivation to think, you know what? Don't let your credit use you because you want a bigger number. Just use your credit and know that if you make regular payments and you have that long history of credit usage and low utilization, the odds are your credit score is going to be well above a 760 credit score, and realistically, you don't need a dime over a 740 or 760 in some rare cases. Well, folks, now I'm going to steal a quote out of the Steve Jobs playbook. Do you want to sell sugar water for the rest of your life, or do you want to change the world? And we're going to modify that. Do you want to be boring and pretend to invest in retirement accounts and index funds for the rest of your life? Or do you actually want to build wealth by buying really good deals in real estate below market value? And instead of having your wealth double every 7 years, you can have your wealth quadruple within the next few years. The choice is yours. And if you want some more details on the City Double Cash, check out the video here, or if you want to see how I made $100,000 buying a house off Facebook, my net worth literally goes, whoop, $100,000, check the video right over here.